Hey there YouTube, it's been a long time. We got a video for you here. New project. Well, it's actually not a new project, it's an old project that I'm fixing. So let's see what it is. This here is a pig roaster that I built 12 years ago. It's been sitting outside. It's made out of 2 barrels because I wanted it longer than 1 barrel, so I welded 2 barrels together. It's got a 12 volt DC motor and got a worm gear there out of a garage door opener. See some bicycle chains to gear it down. And the way it worked was these 2 bars would rotate, and the wheel, of course, sitting there would then turn the whole assembly, right? However, what happened was the wheel, of course, getting warm, it fell apart. And you can see it's completely wrecked. So yeah, this is my pig roaster. This is built it myself from just reading plans on the internet. So 2 cages and then 2 big nuts here that squeeze the cage so you can put anything you want in there. Anyways, so we're gonna fix this up, and the way I'm gonna fix it, going to go a little different route. This way it works right now is you set the one end in the bearing, and then this end would sit here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually weld a sprocket right to the bar, and then have it so it sits on this piece of chain, basically. And then it should drive the whole thing. I'll have to probably tighten this all up. I'm guessing this chain came off because it was too tight or too loose or something. But anyways, gonna get working on it, and I'll give you a few little clips here and there and see what it is once I get it working. Okay, got the wheel off, and yeah, it's terrible condition. It's yeah, well, it was my first design, and it did work. At least probably used it about 10-12 times. I was thinking about this as I'm grinding away, thinking originally I'd planned on actually on the other end putting a square piece coming out the end, then mount the driver here, which would be another square that one could slip into, and then I could just turn that one square, you know, run a chain down and then another bar across, connect to the whole thing. And then I thought, well, geez, that's still a pain because you end up this piece of 1-inch bar is tapered, but you still got to get it in the thing, and then you got to turn it to get it to go into the 2 squares to line up. And I thought, you know, it'd really be nice if you just could set it on something. It would just really be good. And then I thought, well, that's warm. Then I thought, well, let's just have it like this with a piece of chain, the sprocket on here, right? I had originally planned on mounting it at the other end of but then I got thinking about this, and of course I want it to get done fairly quickly, so I think I'm just going to mount it all right here. I'll fix this chain, get this chain reattached, and then lubricate it all, give it a little test run, make sure everything works still, and yeah, that'll be a really quick and easy fix, and I'll have her done in no time. Okay, got to give her a test run before we start putting the new sprocket. Got battery. Yeah, let's turn it on. This isn't tight yet, but it should be all right for just a test. Well, you can see the motor, of course, turns pretty quickly, and then that worm gear is the first reduction, then goes to the first of the 2 sprockets, which reduces it once, and then reduces it again. And here you can see the chain came off, but it's really loose, so I'll have to tighten it up. But if I use this as the main one, there'll be weight here once we put the other sprocket on. So I think once we put the other sprocket on here, and it sits right here, That should keep the tension on that, and we shouldn't have any of those sprockets coming off. Sorry, the chain coming off the sprockets. I'll have to, I think, and I might add a little spacer in here, just keep this pushed back. And oh yeah, there's the donor bike. Got from the local junkyard. And I'll just take this rear end apart and take these sprockets apart, find the one that fits, and in she goes. Well, let's get to work on that. Okay, ran into a little problem. Got the right chain, got the sprockets all off, figured out which one. I want the big one from the rear tire. That will fit just like that. And you can see in the position it's just a smidge high, which is okay. But was looking at it, now I see the chain is going to touch right here. And of course, the way this is built, it's all fixed distance. I mean, this chain is stretched over the years of being used. So now the weight of this whole thing is going to be on this chain. So I need to make this adjustable so that I can space these apart and tighten up the chain. It's either that or put a couple of bearings right here on each side of the bar to hold it up off the ground, just to lift it up so that the chain is just catching on the sprocket and not actually resting the weight on it. In either case, I need to space this out a little bit. I don't know if I've got enough gap there to remove a link. I think I have enough gap there to remove a link. Probably not, because that's only half a link. Got to remove 2 pieces, which means I still need to make this whole assembly adjustable. So to do that, I think what I'll do is this channel iron. This is 1.5" channel and 1" square tube. I'll put 2 of these spaced like that. Put the channel like so, and then this is the inside cage, can move, whereas the outside cage is will be welded in place, and then we'll just put a bolt. A nut. We could just tighten it up a little bit and it'll pull it stretched out. Anyways, I'll put that together, cut that apart, build that frame, and do a little clip of it. Here we got the, you can see we got the bracket. It's just sitting there. It's all been welded. Everything's just sitting on it. So that'll be approximately there, this one. And this cage here slides in and out. So now I'll be able to, I'm going to cut this a little shorter, weld a nut on the end, and then just put a long bolt through to push it out. Yeah, so then I'll be able to put the chain back on, and once the chain's on, then I can put the sprocket on to the shaft of the pig roaster and give it a test. Okay, here's the next part. So you can see the little carriage. So I'm going to design it the way the chain is right now. It'll be about here. But you can turn this in and out, adjust it in and out. The one chain here is going to not quite hit, but it's going to be close. So I'm going to just notch that right there. Yeah, this carrier will have to be further out like that, but something like that. I think this side's a little higher than the other side originally was, so it'll be a little higher, but it shouldn't matter. It'll just change left and right. But given that it's longer, yeah, it shouldn't matter. There's a little bit of room inside the opening here. I bent this tin back just to make room. Okay, got the sprocket on. It's just tacked for now. It's good tack, but it's on. You can see how it's sitting on there. It's looking pretty good, but of course it's got side-to-side motion. And the more I think about it, you know, you put an 80-pound pig in there, that means that, you know, you got that plus this, so 45, 50 pounds of weight. That means the chain will have, given the direction, you know, could have 500 pounds of force on it. So, which means it's going to stretch a lot faster. So I'm going to build a bracket up here with 2 bearings, and the bearings will be kind of at this position and this position, and that'll take the weight. So just pick it up like so. So it's just catching the gear. It doesn't need much weight. Usually the pig's pretty balanced. So yeah, gonna do that. Gotta get a couple bearings, and then we'll work on that. In the interim, I think I'm just going to finish welding that on, and this here I'll probably have it come out just maybe an inch. Take a piece of 1 inch square tube and just run it across this, and then put a piece of 4-inch plate up, cut it in a circle, and drill a couple holes and just bolt bearings in. So it should be pretty simple setup, but yeah, it definitely works. Still got to make sure it's fully aligned up. This one's a little bit off, so I'll have to play with it a little bit. Got the piece of 1.5 or is that 1.25 I think, square tube, welded up in the support bracket. It's looking good. Got the new, here's the piece with the couple bearings bolted onto it. This is going to install like so. So now we've got, that'll be the weight support. And this here collar, one thing I've noticed is testing tends to ride out a little bit, and I know the other end of the bar is tapered, so it could be just that is just slowly working its way back. So I got this collar, slip the collar on, weld this on. Once everything's in the position, get the height, weld that on like so. Just lift it a little bit up, get the weight up, clamp it. I'll just clamp it in place. Double check the door closes. Once that plate's welded on, then as you can see I can move this out and it'll just clear the bolts. I've been grinding it down a little bit. And that'll prevent it from trying to ride out. It'll this collar will push up against the bearings. So it should keep it from trying to ride out. Yeah, so I'll just finish putting that together and we'll give it a test. Okay, I just put a couple tacks. I'm going to test it. So what I've done is you can see it is resting on the bar here. It's still definitely resting here. The bearings won't turn. That one does a little bit. But there's a tiny bit of slack in the chain. You can see underneath moving there. Not sure if you can see that too well on the camera. Maybe get my head out of there. Anyways, looks good. So let's give it a spin. I don't have this collar installed yet. I've got to grind it down some more, and then I've got to turn these bolt heads so that they're just in the right spot, so that the collar will clear. As you can see right now, it won't clear. But I just want to do a test with these bearings and the weight being on this bracket. A lot of weight there. I might have to add another support once a pig's in there, but there's that. And then I also have to add actually a couple of washers on the inside here so that the spacing of this rod doesn't move, because even once the bearings are tight now, the rod can then still slide in and out like this, and of course that'll just cause the chain to come off. So let's give it a try, see what happens. Here we go. Push that back. Oh, it's looking good. It's running smooth, and this is staying nice and in the center even without the guides. You can see it moving a little bit left and right, but yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to just work on cleaning all this up and all the bits, and I'll show you a video when we're all done, and I'll put the rack back in. Okay guys, got her all done. So permanent welded, looking good. A couple nice little welds there. Took the bar out and I actually drilled a hole and put a little piece of wire as a retaining clip, and now they're tightened down. Got the, you can see got the cages in, and chain's pretty tight. There is a bit of slack, but it's pretty tight. But all the weight's there. got the collar on. It's in the right spot. I had to give it a bit of bevel right here because it would try to catch the bearing edge. So yeah, I don't know. We'll gonna let her buck and see what happens. Rubs, it rubs. But it's looking really good. Just zoom right in there. Tracking's pretty close. I'm happy it's not catching. I need to give it a complete little bit of WD and some grease down there. But yeah, she's running like a charm. Happy. So getting this fixed up was for my son's graduation. My 17-year-old boy is graduating, so give it a little paint job. We'll just coat a bit of black on it. I'm just gonna throw some black on top of everything. Next upgrade, we'll be getting rid of this. Originally, I just built this handle, old hockey stick, and used a hinge from a house hinge. But of course, the torque, once this was up, touching there, the torque on that hinge was so much, it just bent the metal. So I just tied a rope onto it. Well, since then, of course, I've decided I'm going to take and replace these legs with wheels. Have the handle come off the wheels so that if when you turn it, the handle, it'll turn the wheels. And then I'll probably end up cutting this bar and spreading those out straight. Originally, where this was stored, only fit exactly this distance. So these two bike tires, I had to actually angle them inwards in order to make it fit in behind the shed. So another upgrade. But today's Monday. Barbecue is on Sunday. I will do a little follow-up video with the barbecue results. I'll do a little clip of us setting it up, lighting it, and then getting the pig on and firing the rig up and watching her cook. And of course, a little clip at the end for the results. And then hopefully I can come back to this project here this fall or winter and do the tires, the wheels there for the steering and the new arm, and separate those. I was even thinking I should take this whole design to the next level and add a little shelf down here so you can put some tools or some other stuff. I do got to make a slight modification to the catcher. If the way this thing works is there's two pieces of 1/8 plate here. Catch all the drippings, come off. Most of the drippings would fall in here so you don't have flare-ups, which works great. It goes down into a small trough. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a trough. Anyways, my hope was that the trough would catch the fluid, of course, and I could then drain it off maybe down a hole. But what happens is down there it's actually quite cool, and fat, even off of a pig, will harden. So it ends up plugging the hole in the drain tube, and so none of it gets out. It all gets caught in there. So I was thinking of making that catch basin just bigger so that it could catch more liquid, and then take that whole basin out as one piece. And once you take it all out as one piece, then it'll then you can just drain it into your sink drain or whatever, or garbage can. Anyways, upgrades for next time. Hope everybody enjoys the video. It was fun getting back to work on this. And hopefully everything goes well for this Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye.